So I was shot in my back on New Year's. A bullet went through 2 people and hit me in my back. You know in the movies where the guys have a machine gun and then when like takes the body, goes and drills the bullet and he throws it away and he's fine?
Yeah.
Yeah, that wouldn't happen.
I know one of your biggest clients and most recurring clients is Drake. How does that collaboration work?
Often Drake wants to come up with the idea. Like life is good, he really knew what he wanted to do.
I love
Sometimes
that,
it's just kind of a line like Justin Bieber is going to be me. And sometimes like Hotline Bling, here's the thing about Superfly. We should be able to have dumb action movies from black people. No one watches John Wick and says, what are you trying to say about the Russian American community?
Right.
Streamers have come for everybody's food. There's one guy named XQC. His 2-year non-exclusive contract was $100 million.
When was this?
LeBron James' exclusive 2-year contract was $97 million.
So does that mean music videos are dead?
The music video now, I think, is much more for the fans.
What influence would you say Hype Williams had on your work?
Major. You come from a very similar visual family.
You're not letting yourself be defined as just a director. You're so much more than that, and you're so involved in your community. And we need to be advocates for that, so I appreciate you doing that, you know?
Thank you.
If you watch music videos, you've definitely seen Director X's iconic work for Drake, Rihanna, and Justin Bieber. Now, he's making his mark in film and TV with Superfly and Robyn Hood while leading Operation Prefrontal Cortex, a nonprofit tackling gun violence in urban neighborhoods. Mr. X, Director X.
What's up?
Got a big one today, man. Appreciate you coming, bro. Thank you for being
Thanks
here.
for having me.
Yeah, man. I mean, you're a leader in the music space, in the film and TV space now. And I was just looking back at the history of your projects, the history of what you've done, and I noticed, before Director X, there's Little X. So I would just love to know just where that comes from, where that originated from, and how did it evolve from Little X to Director X,
I mean, the name you get when you're like 15, that's it.
Yeah.
When you hit your 30s, don't quite hit the same way. Like being Little X and you're 35 is like a weird, you know what I'm saying? It's just time to it's not the same meeting Director X and meeting Little X. Little X sounds like some 20-year-old. It sounds like what that is, some rapper or something, right? You know what I mean? Like it's just, which is fine. It was cool, but I needed to evolve it in a way that would actually evolve. If I just said, "Don't call me Little X anymore," people would just say, "Oh, there's Little X." But when I moved it to Director X, it was you know what I mean? Like it's a transition that people can move with, and because it works, people want to do the transition. You feel what I mean?
I feel you, but where's the X come from is what I'm wondering.
X, when I got the name Little X, that's when hip hop was really conscious. So everything was like X Clan and Malcolm X and Public Enemy. So I tell people that being the light skinned guy is the blackest guy in the room. The light skinned guys are always ready to start the revolution. You know what I'm saying? The light skinned guys are always ready to get it popping. You know what I mean? So that was really the thing. Little X, it was that era.
Directors always had rapper names. Like Hype Williams had a rapper name, and then I don't know anybody else. I can't really think.
No, kind of me and Hype. Everyone else kind of used their first and last name.
Yeah.
But Hype Williams, Little X, Director X, Benny Boom.
Oh yeah.
That was actually his rap name. Benny used to rap.
Oh no
so
way.
He just used his rap name.
That's so dope.
Yeah. His son is making beats. His son makes beats.
Really?
Like a working producer.
Oh, that's dope.
Oh, yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, he comes from music, has music in his blood, you know?
Were you guys ever working on sets together? Like you,
Benny and I, he AD'd for me.
No way.
Yeah, like Mystical Shake Your Ass.
No way.
Yeah, that 2000 run, that Benny was my AD. Yeah, we were young and just wilding out.
I was actually wondering, like, when you were coming up, I was just kind of doing some research and I saw you were shadowing Hype. Was there a relationship with Hype in the beginning?
I was an intern for Hype.
Okay.
I interned for Hype, and then I was Hype's intern. Then started doing storyboards for him. Became friends, a mentor, like a big brother. Yeah.
How did you land that internship? Like as a kid, you know?
Persistence. Persistence is what I said. Persistence.
Were you a filmmaker prior to that internship?
Not. I was an artist, I was an illustrator, but I wasn't like nowhere near. Yeah. Just some young kid just doing what he's interested in.
What were you doing illustrations of?
At that time, I was doing graphic design. When I was young, I thought I was going to do comic books. Like junior high, I thought I was going to be a comic book artist. First year of high school, I thought I was going to be a comic book artist. Then someone handed me a party flyer. It was a hand-drawn party flyer.
Oh, sick.
So that made me want to do party flyers. Started chasing down, doing party flyers. Party flyers led to graphic design. Graphic design was what I thought I was going to do. Then, I left home real young and moved into my friend's my friend's place. He had a basement apartment, and he's a rapper. What should have been his living room was a studio. And I helped him write some lyrics for a song. And then another one of my friends went to a poetry reading. I went with her. And at the end, they opened up the mic. So I read the lyrics to the song I wrote. They invited me back. So now I'm writing poetry and reading poetry around town. And that got me into a place called Much Music. They did a poetry episode on a show called Rap City, not the MTV Rap City, the Canadian Rap City.
Got it.
So I read my poetry and said, hey, what's up with that internship? They had an internship this guy Big C had. And he had left. He got a job at a record label. So I got that internship at part of a school program, and that's where I got interested in directing.
Got it. Some people, I feel like there's different kinds of, like, filmmakers, we all kind of land in different areas. Like, some people have roots as a kid. They're like, the kid with the camera doing shit, trying to figure it out. Some people kind of fall into it. Would you say when you were a young kid, did you see film being even a part of your future at the time?
No, not when I was a young kid. No. My neighbor's got a video camera, and that I remember taking their camera and shooting like little movies with them, right? But that was just a kid messing around,
Yeah. The art and form of the music video has changed so much, especially since like the 2000s and kind of the time that you were extremely active and even starting out. Like, in your opinion, because you're such a veteran, because you've seen it evolve and change, what would you say is the main difference of the music video now versus then?
The music video now, I think, is much more for the fans. Right? If you like that artist and you like their music, you'll show up for their video. And if the artist still puts in the effort to make it something good, they get to build their fan base, right? It's like doing a great live show. Like, oh, wow, your fans will appreciate that kind of work.
Yeah.
Where back when music videos were on television, that era was you could win over people. Because now it's in a flow. So if you did something great, you might get someone to say, what's this? Oh, I like this. Okay.
Yeah.
Right. I just don't know. I think very few music videos get in front of other people now. You know what I mean? They get in front of your fans. But I don't even think it's part of the culture anymore where people hear a song and look for the music video. Yeah. You just hear the song.
Yeah.
And that's the song.
Yeah.
The music video is something you might come across one day, but it's not what it was. Like, you look at the music video numbers of big artists, you see they're not what they once were.
They weren't. It's not a novelty anymore. It's too saturated too.
With streamers, look, streamers have come for everybody's food. Streamers are getting paid like XQC. You know XQC?
No, what's XQC?
You don't know XQC. Like, and you're young and you don't know. So there's this whole world of streamers. There's one guy named XQC. His 2-year non-exclusive contract was $100 million.
When was this?
LeBron James' exclusive 2-year contract was $97 million.
What year was this? The $100 million.
Someone Google XQC, $100 million. See, and you don't even know it. Like I'm saying,
that's insane, bro.
You don't even know that happened.
Yeah.
So there's just so much content. There's so much stuff happening that some kid playing video games who barely leaves his bedroom is making more money than LeBron James.
Yeah.
And that didn't even reach your ears.
It's insane.
Y'all found it? 28 years old.
28?
He's not going to practice in the morning. He's not getting...
He's just at home streaming.
He doesn't have the NBA scrutinizing his wardrobe.
You said 2 years for $100 million?
Non-exclusive.
Non-exclusive? What's the value in that for someone to...
If you can bring people to the platform. Who's it with? Is it Kick? Kick.
Oh, Sneeko. Yeah, I know Sneeko.
Yeah, so he's in that world.
Got it.
Yeah, we've heard of Sneeko. The ones you've heard of are the ones that are kind of counterculture.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Guys. But there's a gang of them. So this is what's happening now. The young generation isn't watching music videos. They go on YouTube and they watch YouTube shows. They watch Mr. Beast or whatever's been going on with him. They watch, whatever they're interested in. YouTube is a world for them. Streaming is a world for them. The idea of watching a music video from some artist they like just doesn't register the same anymore.
So does that mean music videos are dead?
No, like I said, music videos, I think for the artist, the same way that's if you're an artist and you go do a live show, the people who come to that show came to see you.
True, yes.
So would you say as an artist now, well, since no one else is going to see it, I'm just going to not do nothing. You know, you're still going to put on the best live show you possibly can. These people came to see you. I think that needs to be the mindset of the music video. Within your budget, do the best possible thing you can do. And then, and who knows, maybe you'll get lucky. Maybe it's good enough that it makes other people say, what is that? Or good enough to make your fans say, you got to see this, man. It's really cool. Right? But you're only going to get that when you put that effort in.
So it's more fan-oriented, fan-centric.
I think so.
More niche, kind of niche down almost.
I think that needs to be how we look at it now.
Do you think this trend in, just production-wise, production style and production size, we're seeing like kind of like a scale down in terms of that. But on the flip side, it might be a little more relatable to fans, a little more, I don't know. It's a lot faster now. The speed of the content's faster too. But do you think that's going to affect how us as filmmakers have to approach these projects now that we may not be getting the luxury of what we may have had several years ago?
Depends. With music videos, there's always a fast-moving thing, right? And what kind of project are you doing? You out there with a 5D? Or you be out there with a ARRI? But, you know, do you need the trucks and the generators and lights and the permits, or just you and a couple people running through the streets? That changes things.
Yeah.
All right? Because Taylor Swift needs the trucks and the generators and the lights.
Of course.
She needs the ARRI, she needs a song, she needs the stuff, and that needs a technician, and that's a union. There's some things you cannot escape.
Yeah.
The requirements of what it takes.
Yeah.
Oh, that was good. That was a bar. Something about you can't escape the requirement of what it takes.
That's a dope bar.
Right? You felt that, right?
Bro, add that to your poetry book, man.
I just wanted to make sure I could remember it. Okay.
That's dope. I'm clipping that.
There's a bar.
That's a dope bar. I'm glad you're at least like, you seem a little more optimistic than some of the people I've talked to with like the music industry.
The music industry is getting rocked.
Yeah.
Again, the streamers are coming and taking all those kids, that audience, the streamer audience, the YouTube audience, the video game audience, that used to be the music video television audience. They'd come home and sit in front of the TV and watch MTV, VH1, BET.
Totally.
That doesn't exist. None of that exists anymore. So you're just losing
it's changing.
Their ability to advertise, the ability to make to stars, the ability to say, oh, don't you know that people who sing are stars? They're special people that you should look up to. Well, why?
Yeah.
The guy who made the song, the guy who made my song for my TikTok dance, he's a star?
Yeah.
No, he's just a guy who made the TikTok song.
It's become like a stigma.
I'm the star. I did the TikTok. Don't you see? I have 3 million likes on my TikTok. Thanks for the song.
Yeah.
Normal guy.
Fella. Yeah.
Maybe if you ask me nice, maybe I'll come on stage at your show.
Right.
Because more people have seen me than seen you.
That's interesting.
On your song.
That actually is, you actually mentioned something really interesting, and that's kind of like the idea of like what a star is now. And a lot of labels, or a lot of the label executives that I've been talking to have been saying that they're actually struggling to almost create stars now. I don't know if it's because they're not working as much on artist development now, or they're chasing the hits. They might be chasing the hits,
It's more than that. Think of the ecosystem just in the early 2000s. 20 years ago. 2004, 20 years ago.
Yeah.
2004, you had TV, you had video games. You just started getting into the beginning of plugging in the console to another console and playing your friends.
Yes.
We're just about to get to internet, play with your friends.
Yep.
No one's streaming. YouTube is they're trying to figure out music videos. The radio is still one of the places you get your music. iTunes is beginning to happen. iPods are beginning to happen. The technology is beginning to happen. You don't buy the CDs anymore, so the music industry is taking a hit there, but you still would see it on TV. You still heard it on the radio. You still listen to the music. And the new competition was essentially video games. Now,
I see.
There are multiple streams, literal streams of people. So if you like debating, well, you can go listen to a debater. If you like political debates, you do political debates. If you like culture war debates, you do culture war debates. If you just like some girl half naked playing a video game, well, you can go do that. If you like a guy that modifies his PC gaming console, then you can go do that. If you like any little tiny corner of interest that you have, you can go to that place.
Our attention is super divided. And we can channel into exactly what we're looking for.
Right.
And you're saying before it was almost spoon-fed to us.
You had a choice. You had a big box in your house. Correct. And maybe you had a big box you had a couple of rooms.
Correct.
But you had this big box, and if you wanted to watch people moving, you had to go to the box. And maybe you could go to the little screen you got, but most of it happened in the box. Now you have your phone, you have the iPad, you have the box. People don't really use the box, and when they use the box, it's just to be a bigger screen for one of their other devices.
I see.
You feel what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like that, but the whole idea of that, I'm going to go to the box, and these channels are going to send me things, and they're going to make decisions for me about what I like. No one, that part of gatekeeping is gone. People like what they like. You just can't tell someone this guy's cool because he sang a song.
Yeah. And that's almost why, going back to the point about creating a star, it was probably easier to create a star because you couldn't really dial into the niche of like what exactly you like. You had a very select few amount of options from artists and labels and.
Yeah. No one thinks you're cool just because you work in any particular business anymore.
Right.
Maybe if you're a megastar, but just because you work in the music industry, okay.
Yeah.
Just because you work, all right.
Yeah, people used to be marketed as like stars. Like I remember when I would see like Lil Wayne on TV, I'd be like, holy shit, this guy's a megastar. It's not presented like that to us anymore.
You need to be big. You need to have.
I guess Taylor Swift, she still has that effect.
Yeah, but she's also riding. Look who's. Is there a new Taylor Swift?
There's not.
Not that also probably there is, but we don't know.
I'm saying
because
like,
we also the flow of information doesn't happen because it was all in the box. You normally come across your kid looking at something on the box and go, "Oh, that's what's happening with the kids." We have no idea what's again. XQC made $100 million in $100 million in a 2-year non-exclusive deal with Kick. No one in the room had heard of that.
That's insane, bro.
Yeah. You think that could have happened 20 years ago?
No way.
Not like you not know about it? That not be the biggest set of news? Everyone's doing their own thing now, bro. Everyone's doing their own thing, and you cannot reach them.
So there's a lot of opportunities. There's a lot of channels for people to discover new things, new creators. Like you were saying, people are on YouTube now and on these like these social media platforms like TikTok, whatever. But from what I'm getting out of this is that it seems like there's more opportunities now for creators and even young directors, young filmmakers to potentially explore getting their content on these platforms, right? But with that being said, comparing, it's 2024 now, comparing to, back in the, let's say the 90s or 2000s when a director or filmmaker really wanted to break in to the industry, what do you think they would do differently now?
I don't know how much it changes. You just got to get out and hustle, meet people. This is still a business where someone has to give you a job. Film, television, everything. Someone has to give you a job. That's the game, baby. I don't know what to tell you.
Your network is your net worth. But what I've seen is there's this young female director. She's super talented, Asian American girl, and she posted a short film on TikTok. This is over COVID, and her short film got like a few million views, and not only that, it was really well received. And from that short film, she signed to a commercial company. She got representation. So would you say that young filmmakers now should really leverage these social platforms and just...
You should be hustling is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I got to where I'm at because I'm hustling.
Yeah.
And hustling in my day was knock on the door, show you I had a tape. When I started when I was an intern for Hype, I had a VHS tape. I mean, we all know what that is.
Yeah, of course.
I had it in my backpack. I'd walk into someone's office while I'm dropping off a package. I go, can I show you something? Do you go, yeah, okay. Do you have a VCR around? Oh, let's go to my office. We'd walk to their office and I put in the tape.
You watched it with him? Like you took
Yeah.
it? Like he let you.
Can I show you this?
When did you get that opportunity? Because that's.
I was an intern. I was dropping that.
Got it.
So now we don't even drop off packages. So that opportunity, your chance to do something like that doesn't exist anymore.
Got it.
Anyways, but then you don't need a VCR and a tape now because you have now you can put it on your phone and all these things exist.
Got it.
So it's not a matter of I don't know. I'm 48. I'm about to be 49. I don't know. You tell me. You tell me how to hustle. You feel me? I know I can tell you my hustle 20 plus years ago.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
But 28 years ago I can tell you how you used to hustle. You'd have to take a tape and put it in your bag and go to the label and get into the label and be in. Now I don't know, bro. Put it online, put it on your phone, show everyone you know, check that shit on against the building. I don't
Yeah.
Not a bad idea either.
Yeah.
Just go.
Right. Get it out there.
Yeah, get it out there. Show people.
Put yourself out there.
At the end of the day, it still comes down to you make art to be shared. You make your expression is not done if it's not actually shared. You feel what I'm saying?
Of course.
They're supposed to.
You don't want your art to not be seen.
Yeah, I mean, you can write a little poetry in your book and keep it for yourself. Cool. You can draw your pictures and keep it for yourself, but then that's, right? But if you want to do it for a living, then you need to show people.
So when you first had that big opportunity with Hype, you were interning with, the company and you showed him your work. Did that kind of like set a big foundation for your directing career from there?
Of course.
And was he kind of like a mentor for you?
He was definitely a mentor for me. Again, not in the way that let me show you how to direct, and he let me be around.
Yeah.
I got to see him do it.
So what influence would you say Hype Williams had on your work?
Major. I mean, again, I'm definitely in that visual. We come from a very similar visual family. The kind of set-driven music videos he'd make are very similar to the ones I would do. He's a major influence. He's a major influence on all of hip-hop, let alone me.
Of course.
So
I'm wondering what your thoughts are for transitioning out of, the video space. Let's say there's young directors out there. They've kind of been tapping into music. They've kind of been tapping into the branded space, but they really want to get into the feature space, the TV world, right? I guess what advice would you have for filmmakers who want to make that transition from short form to long form?
It's another one. It's hard getting representation. Now you really need representation. Now you need a manager or an agent but knock on doors. Agents and managers need people to represent.
I think for those who don't know the difference, like what would you say an agent does versus a manager?
It's specific when it comes to like Hollywood out here in LA. Agents can do certain kind of things. Managers can do certain kinds of things. I almost don't understand all of it. So, but you need representation to get into that world.
And how could you, it's one thing to knock on doors. It's another thing to get noticed. Would you say a young filmmaker needs a strong body of work before they walk in? Like, are music videos enough to get a film agent, to get a TV agent,
Some are. Some are. Things still can hit. People still see talent. It's hard. But if you really want to move into the space of filmmaking where people are talking to one another, scenes are being done, storytellers are being done, you should shoot a short. You should shoot something with a story. That's where you're going to... Right? Because at some point, you might have the greatest music videos in the world. They're going to be, all right, well, can you work with actors?
Totally different skill set, directing actors versus directing artists.
To a degree.
Sort of, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, working with another thing, if you're being a filmmaker, learning how to direct actors or that skill can also feed into, actually help with me. Right? Yeah. So like a technique I might use with an amateur, it's normally like you're doing a commercial or you're people who are not fully dedicated to the craft of acting. They'll just act happy and they'll do a happy thing, right?
Yeah.
But how do you get a performance better from folks like that?
Yeah.
I might do something like think in your head right now. Just keep repeating these words in your head over and over again. Happy thoughts. What do you feel?
Right now? I mean, I'm feeling happy. I'm thinking of happy.
When you think happy thoughts,
yeah,
you thinking it? Just keep thinking happy thoughts. Feel a little happy.
I feel happy. Yeah.
Try this one. In your head, keep doing this. All right? Ha ha. Ha ha. Ha ha. Now you're smiling.
Well, I'm doing it in your voice in my head. So
do it in your voice. Keep doing ha ha in your head. It's just a little tiny, right? It's kind of hard not to smile when you keep laughing in your head.
Yeah, I see.
All right, so these are things I might do with an amateur actor who's having trouble getting into a happy place for the scene. Well, what if you give that to a singer who's singing a happy or funny, or what if it's a song about love and you tell them, keep thinking I love you? What if it's a song about revenge and you say, envision a lion chasing down its prey, running it down, jumping on top of it, sinking its teeth into its neck? Keep thinking about that as you perform. Think about it now as you talk to me. But keep asking a question, because you can actually talk to me and have that thought. So as you talk to me, think about a lion in the jungle stalking its prey.
Yeah. I mean, it feels violent,
If you feel it in your body.
Yeah, like
just a little, just enough for you to, and that's what I'm saying. These are things I learned. I didn't learn them in music video and bring them to actors. It's things I learned with actors and then also brought it back to music video.
Got it.
Got it. So these are as a filmmaker going into all the spaces of filmmaking, documentary, music video, commercial, television, film, short film, long form, by going into all these spaces as best you can and interacting as a director, they begin to inform and help one another.
I see. Did you have a short film like earlier on when you were like in the heyday of the videos that you were able to put out?
No. See, my thing is the mercenary in me is like tied into my DNA now. I'm a filmmaker that has to get hired. I'm a filmmaker that needs I need something to trigger that, you know what I mean? I just need, hey, all right, I need something. Even when I'm writing stories, that just if a producer came and said, hey, I'm trying to do that, it might motivate me, but that's what it is for me. I had work, and then my brain never went to writing my own short or doing, right? But then I did a short for Pierre Moss, which is a clothing line, right? Called 7 Mothers. If you can find the director's cut, actually go to directorxfilms.com and watch 7 Mothers, because that's the director's cut.
Mothers. I think that was at TIFF, right?
It wasn't at TIFF. No.
It was not at TIFF?
That was a different thing.
Got
I
it.
didn't direct that. I produced that. But
Got it.
7 Mothers, if you go to directorxfilms.com, watch 7 Mothers. That's the director's cut. It's one of my most personal works, something I'm most proud of.
I love it.
I wrote it, I directed it, but it's a job. A fashion brand came to me and said, hey, we're trying to do this. And I said, what if we did that? And next thing you know, it had turned into a short film.
Got it. So did you basically create the story based off their brief when they came to you?
It came in, and Kirby, who was the creative director, he wanted to do something about family, the black family, but not wrap it in the struggle. Because so much of content about the black family is, and then it was hard being black in America. He was like, what if we just did a family being a family? But I want to do a couple Instagram posts. He had this thing, and he wanted to do multiple things, and that evolved and grew into it. Because if we're going to do multiple posts, we should do a film. We should do a narrative. Well, if we should do a narrative, what should we do it about? And then Kirby reveals his mother died when he was very young, and a group of women raised him. His mother's friends, his aunts, these totally. 7 mothers. Totally, yep. So that evolved into 7 Mothers. And I mean, like, if you're a young mother and you don't cry, I wonder what's up. Yeah. It's not uncommon. I'm serious. So it is not uncommon for me to be in a meeting and show that film and someone get up and start crying.
Very emotional experience.
Bro, get up out the room. I'll be back and go cry.
Really?
It's happened multiple times. They get up and leave and cry and then come back.
It's a job well done, man. Hits home.
Yeah, brother. That's what I'm saying. This is one of my more personal works. It's a really emotional film, and that's a combination. It's not just me. It's Kirby, his style, the clothes, his taste, because it's still his film. And his influence on how he wanted to cut it, and you know what I mean? So all these elements coming together. It's really a great example of, the editor, the executive producer. Like one day the editor said, yo, hey, are you here yet? I get a call. My executive producer at the production company. Are you here yet? Here yet? What do you mean? I didn't even register it. Then I get to the edit. He's there. Goes, hey, can I do something with this? Yeah, sure. He goes in and does an edit and completely flips the ending. Which becomes the ending. Because I had a dream. Wow. I had a dream about this. Can I try it? Because he used to be an editor.
That's amazing.
He flips the edit. We have the edit, and then we take it from this editor's doing his thing, but it's not quite working. We go to a new editor. That editor smashes it up. Now it's a whole new thing. Like, even one of my sales reps came in and said, I don't know about that. You don't need that shot. Remove the shot. Way better. You feel me? Like, it was just the beauty of filmmaking. It's not just me as a genius. Always new. Is Kirby was like, I don't like the edit.
Right.
He kept, I don't like it. I don't like it. I don't like it. I don't like it. That's why we took it to a new editor. The music guy, that became another thing. This person, it all comes together. It is a team sport to make this great thing. As the director, I get to take the lion's share of the credit, but it really is a team sport. And those special moments that come together, still one of my most effective pieces of filmmaking. And as a short, great piece of filmmaking to show someone in quick 8 minutes and 12 seconds. Oh, this guy knows what he's doing. This guy's good.
I love that. Yeah. You mentioned something that's really important. It's like knowing when to hold on to the creative vision versus knowing when it might need to change and evolve, right? Like some directors are very stubborn. Even myself, when I'm on set, sometimes I'm so stubborn about certain things I want, or even in the edit room, I'm like, it needs to have this, it needs to have X, Y, Z. And then sometimes the client will come back, or the artist or whoever it is, and they'll say, I really think we should do this. And sometimes it's hard to put myself in their mindset. My question for you is, how do you know when to give something up versus to hold on to it, you know?
Who's saying it? What are they saying? I find if it's a music video and the artist has something, then it's their shit.
Yeah, of course.
Right. Is it a manager? Maybe it's a note behind a note. Maybe it's not exactly the thing they want you to do. But if you look at it, go, oh, well, what if we did this? And they go, oh, see, sometimes people have an instinct of what's not working, but they also don't know that they don't need to give the solution.
Right.
Is actually the most effective thing they could do is say something's not right about that. Something about that's not working, and then let you do it, and then you'll find the thing.
That's not bad.
Yeah,
seems like it's like a good compromise.
You just take a look at it as opposed to, oh, let me do you're not. They hired you to be you.
Yeah, for sure.
So outside of the artist, but I do find that I haven't really come across many people who are part of, not your friend who came over one day and was like, hey, what do you think about?
Yeah.
But mainly if they're part of the job, if they're part of the process, they're like, they're working on this, they're getting a check from this.
Mm-hmm.
They have an instinct on it that you should listen to. And then when you begin to accept that and work with it, then you'll find yourself saying, hey, what do you think? Like, hey, what if we, forget it. No, what do you think?
Mm-hmm.
No, what were you going to say? It's nothing. No, it's something. What were you going to say? Because then you begin to understand maybe it is something. Maybe they did notice. I don't know. I just don't like that thing.
Yeah.
Let me look at it. Oh, yeah. Because Game of Thrones has a water bottle in the shot. Y'all remember when that happened?
No, I don't remember that.
Season 8 of Game of Thrones.
Okay.
There's one where there's a Starbucks cup on the table.
Was that a product placement or no?
No. A Starbucks cup in Game of Thrones on the table. All those people, all the people shooting, directing, but not only did it happen, no one caught it.
That's insane.
It got on the air.
After all those rounds of revisions.
All those people painstakingly watching and looking.
Dude.
I bet you someone saw something and didn't say.
Oh, yeah, you think so?
Or they didn't say it in the moment and then they forgot. I bet you.
That's insane.
Yeah, man. You never know who might notice something. So it's worth at least what was that? What do you say? Oh, that.
Yeah. That reminds me of a Justin Bieber video I saw from like years ago. And in the opening sequence, you see the Steadicam guy still in the shot. It's the craziest thing ever. I'm like, after all these rounds of revisions and the label sync and management, nobody saw the Steadicam.
You're focused on what you're focused on.
That's insane. It just goes to show like where our mind can go to when we're so like dialed in on something, you know?
Yeah.
But on that note of just like collaboration and getting feedback, you have like a really amazing and like cool career because a lot of your collaborations are so personal with the artist. And I feel like a lot of times the label may not be as hands-on as they may be with other directors. And I know one of your biggest clients and most recurring clients is Drake, right? So I'm just curious, as a fan of course, the music and as a fan of your work, like how does that collaboration work? Who comes up with the idea, you know, and how do you bring that to life?
They're different. Often Drake wants to come up with the idea.
Okay.
So he feels, right? Sometimes it's very specific. Like Life is Good, he really knew what he wanted to do.
I love
Sometimes
that
it's just kind of a line like, Justin Bieber's going to be me.
Yeah, I got you.
Right. Sometimes like Hotline Bling, we like what you did with, we like your performance videos. We like Give Me the Light. You know what I'm saying? Like, then I go off.
I see the parallel.
Yeah,
I see that actually. I see. And so when you get that one idea, do you then kind of just like put it into a full treatment from there, like based off that initial kind of?
Yeah, you flesh it out.
Yeah.
You flesh it out. What I do now is I do previses.
Got it.
So I'll go and I use Premiere Rush.
Mm-hmm.
I'll get the song, I'll put it on my timeline, and I'll put in the scenes.
Yep.
So it's not exactly shot for shot.
Yep.
It will be, and I can actually share it with you.
Yeah.
This stuff.
It's like we call it animatic. Same thing.
Animatic, previs.
Yeah.
So say I map out a song, and I know the first verse is going to happen. Even I do broad strokes. Cafeteria.
Okay.
So I can put on the previs, scene 1, cafeteria, and then in the hook, we're going to go to the football field. Scene 2, football field. And that's so on a one big wide swipe, we can now the crew all look at it, and they're looking at the video, they're listening to it, and we know where things are going to happen when in the song.
Amazing.
Now you know how long, but where it's going to go. Then we start, so we could put location pictures up. Or I could begin to break it down. All right, now I could go, these 4 bars, Jim walks into the cafeteria. These 4 bars, Jim sits with the girl. These 4 bars, the girl slaps Jim. Now in the hook, these 4 bars, you know what I'm saying? On the football field, I get narrower and narrower and narrower. So as you get closer and closer to the day, you're always honing it. So then it's Jim walks into the cafeteria wearing the blue jeans and the red T-shirt. Jill is wearing the bubble goose and the Rangers hat.
It's beautiful.
Nighttime, and next thing you know, everyone knows precisely what's happening.
No guesswork.
No guesswork. You know how long it's going to happen. You know how many bars. You can do all kinds. Versus the treatment that's one part advertising, one part reference photo. Oh, I thought he was going to be wearing blue. No, it's not blue. That reference was to show you that it's the cafeteria, but he's wearing blue in the cafeteria, so I got blue. No, I told you red. Didn't you read that? Said red? No, well, the treatment now goes away because the treatment is for sales. And we now get into the business of boring filmmaking. Exterior, house, day 2, gym wears, green pants, photos if need be. Shot 1, low angle up. Jim, shot 2, dolly track, boring, boring, technical fucking filmmaking.
Yeah, but it's amazing. I bet your editor loves that, huh?
I mean, now they know what they're putting on top. They get it. All right, this goes here, that goes there, and then you get to play because you know exactly what it's going to be. You're not figuring out. No, okay, we're all doing it, and then when we get there and the low angle doesn't work, or we get there and or we just feel it. I got the low angle. Get a high one real quick. You know what you're doing. This game is prep. This is a preparation game. All right, and now the technology really allows. Forget a music video. When I do a commercial, I shoot it.
Oh yeah, like with your iPhone?
With my iPhone.
Yeah.
I shoot it. 30 seconds. You have no excuse not to be shooting 30 seconds. Everyone has a fucking phone in their pocket. You have no excuse to not be watching a rough cut of the commercial, especially because it's 30 seconds precisely. I did a previs for a 60-second commercial. The script that the client gave us was 45 seconds.
Okay, so you have to cut it down?
No.
Say that again?
If we did not shoot the previs, the job was, we want a 60-second commercial. Here's the script. We did the previs of the script. It was 45 seconds long.
Got it. Okay.
If we just shot it without doing the previs, we'd be 15 seconds short.
Got it.
It's a whole other scene they had to do.
Yeah. So you presented that to them and they added extra.
I mean, unless you want to go back to fucking Nike and tell them that you didn't give them 60 seconds.
Yeah. Yeah. So they loved it. I'm sure they appreciate it.
Bro, you have the technology now. You don't have an excuse now, especially for commercials. Music videos, you can figure it out. You're shooting a bunch of footage. You go to a shot close up of the guys. There's ways to figure out a fucking music video. There ain't no way to figure out a commercial. Not when the script is the script and different game.
So in the instance of like a Nike, let's say it's a Nike basketball commercial, and let's say it's something with LeBron James, right? And it's a shot of him. The whole script revolves around him on a court, going up, dunking, shooting, whatever. You're essentially saying you pull out your iPhone and
you go on the scout day with the whole crew and you shoot the shot. So it might be you being LeBron.
Just a stand-in.
It might be the producer sitting and being the receptionist.
Got it.
You just do it.
Just do it.
Here's the whole crew. Intended. You shoot the thing out. The crew's there. It's kind of a little mini rehearsal. It doesn't have to be perfect, but we have some idea.
I love that.
Of what this is going to be. You feel me? And even before you get to that shoot day, there should be a previs with the words written. There's no excuse. Not with how this works now, to not be doing this type of prep work. And if you're not doing this type of prep work, well, maybe you didn't know. Now that you know, and if you still don't want to do it, then maybe this ain't for you.
The tools are crazy now. We have like 4K cameras in our pockets and all this software and technology. Are you using anything aside from the iPhone? Is there anything else you're using that's helped you really optimize your workflow?
Yeah, my iPhone and my iPad. I was doing a TV show, and on the Scout, like because when you're doing a TV show, sometimes you're just sitting in the office, and no one's really concerned with what you're doing. So, take me to the locations. I just go to the locations and start shooting with my phone. And I'll go with, it might be my AD, and I wouldn't have them necessarily read the words, but I'd have them stand in the places Like go to the location and okay, they go here and then they go around that corner. So we'll do this. Or maybe we should do that. And anything that gets you closer, whether it's just thinking about it, writing it out, drawing pictures, now phones, doing a previs where you just put words on the screen, anything that gets you a step closer to the finished product, you're a step closer to the finished product. You get closer to what this is supposed to be. The reason why all those animations, all those like Pixar movies and Illumination, like I just saw The Wild Robot, unbelievable.
I haven't seen it. It's good?
Unbelievable. You want to cry a gazillion times in that fucking movie.
I heard it's really good.
Incredible.
Yeah.
The reason it's incredible is because they do storyboards.
Yep.
They go and get the actors.
Yep.
The actors do their part.
Yep.
Read out the script. They storyboard to the script. So they're essentially watching the movie. We go shoot a movie. We read the script. We write the script. We like the script. Then we get millions of dollars and shoot the movie and then cut it all together. And now for the very first time, we look at the movie because the actors are in it and say, oh, that doesn't work. You know, we could have got the actors together to read the script, record it. And we could have put storyboards on top of their recording and then watched the movie. And then we would have known it didn't work before we spent millions of dollars.
They don't do table reads?
They do table reads. They don't record it. They don't do what the animators do.
Oh, they don't?
No, you sit in a table read and everyone kind of listens and go, that was awesome. The animators record it, put it into an edit, then draw pictures of the movie on top of that, and then they watch the movie. That's why Finding Nemo, if you ever find documentaries, Finding Nemo, they figure they're watching it, oh, that doesn't work. Let's do this, let's do that. So they get this super polished. Why do they always nail it? Why do the animation guys always nail it? It's not that they're a better set of storytellers. It's the way they do their storytelling, the way they do their prep, the things they do to get to the final product. Give them opportunities to say, that doesn't work, so let's take that story, kick that out. That doesn't work. Put that in. What if we move that over here? So the final thing is essentially been rewritten and reshot a million times to the exact perfect movie where we, on the other hand, read the script, we like it, hope this works, shoot it.
Right.
Then it maybe if you have enough money to do pickups, but then that doesn't work. It just starts getting messy and fucking nuts.
Yeah.
When if you could prep that into the perfect movie.
Yeah. Yeah, animation is precise, man. I'm working on this animation project right now. It's like a pilot. We have a dope team kind of help us out. And like you said, we gave them, it was first a script. Then we did our shot list. Then we did the recordings of the voice, like the voiceovers. They put the boards in an animatic, like what you were saying. And then we saw every round of notes, the storyboards kept getting more and more polished. And then it ended up being like this full animated product. So it's obviously a really long process. And I understand with live action, it's probably like, sometimes you can't afford that time, you know? And
I mean, all right, but
it's the final product's insane. You're winning. Yeah. You have an amazing dialed in.
What can't you afford? Pickup days and reshoots?
Right.
It's or 2 weeks of.
It's definitely more cost efficient to spend a little more time planning than it is to do the pickups.
We all know that.
I actually want to ask you about your experiences. So you have a lot of history in TV and film and everything, but I want to take it back to your very first film. I believe it was 2015. Was it Across the Line? Was that your first film? And I want to talk about Across the Line before we get into all the new stuff. With Across the Line, was that a film that they came to you, or was that something you developed? Or?
No, they came to me with it.
So tell me about how that came, because that was the very first narrative thing, right? So how did that come to fruition?
You know, met the writer at a network event in Canada at CBC. My management at the time, you know, figured it out. We made the film.
It was already written and everything. So they came to you. How long did you spend on that first film and like pre-production versus shooting and post?
I can't remember, maybe a month or so.
So it was a pretty fast process for you?
No, it's a 15-day shoot, one camera. We might have prepped for 15. I can't remember exactly.
And was it indie or was it like a studio behind it, or?
No, it was independent. In Canada, they have a bunch of tax credits and things.
Got it.
To help the filmmaking.
Got it. So
it's tax credits and all kinds of quite wild tax law like shit.
Private investor or something?
You got to go and get money here, get money there, but it's a whole process. But most countries, America is probably one of the few countries that doesn't, but London, Australia, Germany, they don't have a film and television industry that is self-sufficient. The government has to help them.
Got it.
Or they just wouldn't have any of their culture out there. It'd just be Americans, especially in Canada. They just get steamrolled by American content, and they have to have something made by Canadians for Canadians.
I see.
Made for Brits for, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then what ends up happening is many of those countries have tax credits to entice other productions to come there.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why Toronto and Vancouver have such great crews, right? They're filming all this. The government is essentially investing into the technicians.
Yes.
So when Suicide Squad comes up, it's not just a bunch of people that have never done nothing. It's a bunch of people who've been shooting a bunch of shit.
Yeah.
But because of the dollar and the taxes and the tax, all that, I mean, that's what Atlanta does. That's what New Orleans does, right? They might not be funding content, but they are enticing productions into town with big tax rebates.
Yeah. I'm hearing a lot of people are leaving LA for their shoots. Have you been shooting outside of LA a lot?
Yeah, I mean, go to Atlanta.
Atlanta, yeah.
Atlanta is populated by tons of people who used to live in LA, but the work is now in Atlanta.
Yeah. People are going to Mexico. Some people are going to Colombia, I'm hearing. It's insane.
Yeah.
It's an international game now.
It is.
Fast forwarding from 2015 to 2018, I believe, was when Superfly came out. That was a studio film, a remake of the version from the 70s, right? Mm-hmm. How did that come to you, and how was that experience compared to the indie experience?
The indie was, I mean, they had that script. There was a personal story for the writer, producer. Superfly, on the other hand, was actually different. The Superfly script I got was very Hollywood in the process. So someone had the rights to the name Superfly, then they lost the rights to the name Superfly. So then someone had the idea of making King Lear or some kind of Shakespearean thing, but making it street about a drug dealer. But then they got the rights back to Superfly, so they just put the Superfly title on the script. So I get this script, and I'd never watched Superfly, but this was when it was harder to see just any movie you wanted. We didn't have Netflix back then. But I knew that Superfly was about a drug dealer who wanted to make $1 million and get out the game, which is a lot to know about a movie from the 70s you haven't seen.
Of course.
But it's a classic. So I knew what it was mainly about. I read the script, and the script isn't, this character wasn't trying to get out. He was trying to get in. And I said, look, guys, I'm big on source material. I'm a nerd.
Yeah.
I'm a nerd.
For sure.
You can't make Superfly and not make Superfly. If he needs to get out, he needs to be trying to make money to get out the game. That's what Superfly's about. And I told Joel Silver, the producer, and he agreed. And then we said, all right, we'll tell the movie you want to tell. So then we sat down, Alex Tessay, the writer, Joel, myself, and we decided to bring back all the characters, bring back all the major story arcs. So what you should really do is watch the original Superfly.
Yeah, totally.
Have you seen it?
I haven't seen it.
You need to watch the original Superfly and then watch my Superfly, and you will see very clearly I'm making Superfly.
I see.
We did a little this, a little that. We brought back all the original characters are back. That's why he has that hair.
Oh, yeah.
Everyone's like, what the fuck's up with his hair? And I'm like, well, in the original, he had this hair.
Yeah, that's dope. They didn't want to do the hair originally?
No, we decided to do the hair.
Got it.
Trevor had enough hair to do the hair, so we decided to do the fuck it. It's meant. Here's the thing about Superfly.
Yeah,
we should be able to have dumb action movies for fucking black people.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like the Fast and Furious. No one watches John Wick and says, "What are you trying to say about the Russian American community?"
Right.
What is Fast and Furious? Hey.
Right.
Sports car people don't find this. It's a stupid action movie. It's a Joel Silver action movie. Right? So we made something big and fucking fun, but we follow all the things. Yeah. Eddie, Priest, the two girlfriends. The reason, you've seen my Superfly, right?
Yeah.
Okay. The reason he has two girlfriends is because in the original movie, he has two girlfriends. But the problem is now, this is the kind of thing we had to deal with.
Okay.
In the original Superfly, he has a black girlfriend and a white girlfriend. They never meet. We don't know if they know about each other.
Okay.
But he has his black girlfriend, and then he goes downtown, he has his white girlfriend.
Got it. Okay.
That's all we know.
Got it.
In today's day and age, making him cheat on his girl would make him a bad guy. So how do we deal with this? Well, what if he just has two girlfriends?
Oh, he's poly.
In today's day and age, we're like, oh, fuck it. I mean, it's a solution. But he has to have two girlfriends.
I see.
Because in the original movie, he has two girlfriends. Then we started getting into, well, we got to raise the level of the threat. Right? In the original movie, the cops are the drug dealers.
Yes.
Okay? Like two crackheads. In the original movie, two crackheads attack him, and that makes him says, I need to get out the game. So the way I interpret it is that two people in the drug world people from the drug world attack him and make him say, I don't want to do this anymore.
Mm-hmm.
That type of guy, if he's trying to make that much money,
Mm-hmm.
is not around crackheads anymore.
Okay.
Let alone
Yep.
be attacked by them.
Okay, yep.
So he needs to do something. Something needs to happen to him from people within the world of drugs
Mm-hmm.
to make him say, I'm out the game. That's why the rival drug crew came into play.
I see.
Okay?
Mm-hmm.
Then in the movie, the police kill Freddy. In the original, you know Freddy's dead?
Yes. I
Okay.
think. Yes.
Freddy's dead.
Mm-hmm.
So spoiler alert, we're getting the spoilers.
Yes.
Freddy is one of Priest's friends. He's barely a friend in the movie.
Yes.
But the police, the crooked cops,
Mm-hmm.
they're the everything. They're the drug dealers. They provide the drugs.
Yep.
The crooked cops kill Freddy.
Okay.
So
yep.
in our movie, the cops kill Freddy.
Got it.
But Scatter, his mentor, his supplier, is killed. When the cops kill Freddy, they're acting as cops.
Mm-hmm.
So we made sure the cops kill Freddy acting in the capacity as cops.
Got it.
In the original Superfly, Scatter, Michael Williams,
Yep.
he's killed by the cops, but he's killed by the cops when they're acting in their capacity as drug dealers.
Got it. Yep. I see.
So we said, all right, well, the drug dealers, because again, he needs to make like $50 million. Making $1 million, maybe you could get $1 million worth of coke from cops.
Mm-hmm.
You can't make tens of, that's a lot. It's just
Yeah.
doesn't feel real.
Yeah.
So how do we make that feel real? Well, what if it's the cartel,
I see.
right?
I see.
So that's why the cartel kills Scatter.
Got it.
See what I'm saying? So when you you need to watch the original Superfly,
Just to see.
and which they should have promoted. I'll say that to Sony. They should have promoted. Watch the original. 'Cause you feel like you've seen the original? So have you seen mine? So now you need to see my version. You guys should do the double header together.
Yeah, that'd be sick. Let's do it.
You know what I'm
Let's do
saying? To see what's going on and say, oh, I see. You go, it's Superfly.
Yeah, I'm curious.
It's Superfly.
Well, it seems like you kind of just took elements from the original and you, I guess some of it modernized it or made it contemporary. I'm just wondering at what point, because there's a lot of remakes coming out now, right? They're doing a Harry Potter remake. You hear about that? HBO's remaking they're not even doing a spin-off. It's literally Harry Potter, but instead of each book being like an episode, each book is a season. So like there'll be a season 1.
Oh, okay.
So I'm wondering like at what point do you decide like how much of the original integrity to keep versus like introduce new things? Is it just modernizing it? Or?
I'm a nerd, right? So
Yeah.
you see the logic that we had. We changed things when the original didn't make sense.
Mm-hmm.
This guy wants to make tens of millions of dollars from drugs.
Yeah.
He's not anywhere near a fucking crackhead, especially a crackhead that's going to attack him.
Yeah. I
That
see.
he has to chase down. And
That's very reasonable what you did. It makes sense.
so then, okay,
Yeah.
well, who could attack him? What would we believe? Well, rival drug dealers.
I see.
And if rival drug dealers fucking do some shit to you, well, then, hey, maybe it is time to leave.
I see.
Right? So it was always with that
Got it.
we approached our version of the story.
Got it.
And then we gave Freddie a funeral. Freddie gets a funeral in ours. Because in the original, they don't give a fuck.
Yeah.
They don't give a fuck. We got a song. The soundtrack gave more of a fuck about Freddie being dead than anybody else.
Wow.
Yeah, we felt that Freddie needed a funeral.
Damn.
You know what I mean? They really do pair together. It's like wine with the right meal.
Yeah.
Superfly, maybe the Superfly, the original,
Yeah.
and Superfly, the remake, need to be watched together.
Totally. It seems like you had a lot of autonomy on that movie. I feel like with a lot of directors, especially ones who haven't had like 10 movies under their belt, it seems like a lot of the studios are super strict and like
It's not like I could do whatever I wanted. There's still a process.
Yeah.
But we all agreed on what we were doing, and
so you felt like it wasn't a super big game of tug of war, but maybe a little bit of pushback on certain things.
here and there, you know what I mean. And then Joel came in and gave it the Joel Silver magic.
Got it. I see.
But yeah, I mean, when they tested our movie,
Yeah.
we did 3 screenings. And the first screening was 84% in the top 2 boxes. The second screening was 85%.
Okay. Wow.
And the third one was 87% in the top 2 boxes.
That's amazing.
That's unheard of.
Yeah.
That's unheard of.
What stage of was it a finished film at that point?
Like pretty much damn near done. We're watching. It's like a screening. It's a test. A test screening.
Wow.
3 test screenings. If you know some Hollywood people, tell them that you heard Superfly had 84%, 85%, 87%. In each of its screenings, had an A.
That's amazing.
Had an A 3 times in a row.
That's dope.
It's a fun fucking movie.
Yeah.
It's a turn your brain off movie. It's get your popcorn and have a good time movie. And all those screenings, people are yelling and screaming and hooting and hollering. People have the greatest time.
Are you there in the screenings too?
Yeah.
No way.
Yeah, bro. People, they loved it.
Actually, I have a question for you. In these test screenings, are you studying audience and members' expressions and reactions?
I'm not. I do wish that we did the horror movie thing.
Yeah, where they film.
I wish we filmed the audience.
Yeah, I've seen that.
I would have made my. If I had a time machine, I would have made the trailer for Superfly just the audience reactions.
Yeah, that would have been interesting.
Oh yeah, you'd be like, what? Oh, I got to see this. This looks like a great time. Yeah, people loved it.
I think it's very fulfilling when you like have those reactions from an audience. I mean, like you were saying with your short, people are crying and they're very emotional. I feel like it means that you did your job. Right?
You did your job, but another part of the job is how do you let people know you're going to have a great time?
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? If you, it's kind of like if you're a great dancer, but you look kind of mean. But if you dance, when you dance, you're a hell of a great time. But just getting from the bar to the dance floor with somebody, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
To dance, how do you get there?
Right.
So, it's a challenge. Letting people know you got something great is tough now.
Yeah.
It's hard to get in front of people.
For sure. Moving past Superfly, you worked on the Tyson show, I believe, right? You direct a couple episodes or the whole thing?
No, I did the last 2 episodes.
Got it. And more recently you did Robyn Hood, right? And that was your show.
That I created, yeah.
You were a showrunner and creator. Yeah. So man, tell me, like, how is this all coming to life? How did you, who'd you pitch? Let's talk about Robyn Hood with like, that was your idea, that was your concept. Who did you take that to? How did that get made? Because that's a huge accomplishment, Oh, thank you. Congratulations, man. It's huge.
Just doing the grind, going around, showing 7 mothers and people crying and saying, "What do you got?" All that stuff.
7 mothers was like the proof of concept.
No, not at all. But showing people like
I can do.
You're doing these meetings. Yeah, it's just it's the game. But Robyn Hood was an idea I had. The original idea that I had that started it all off was that a bunch of soldiers come back from the war and shit is fucked up. And they become Robin Hood. It's they start robbing the rich and giving to the poor.
Yep.
Then I brought in a partner in London who brought in another partner, who brought in a writer who pitched, what if we make it a girl? What if they become a band? What if they, and so I changed over to that. And it evolved and evolved and evolved. So but running a show, creating a show was a very interesting experience.
I want to ask you, what did you have initially before all the partners came? Was it just a treatment, a pitch deck, a script? Like what phase?
Idea.
Just an idea.
Wrote what I could. And,
No way.
We had an idea. So it's a whole. But again, you should be doing whatever you can.
Yeah.
To show people.
Yeah, man. And that was through your agent that kind of brought out those people?
No. Well, no. A bit of my agent, a bit of myself, hustling, meeting people, doing general meetings. It's a whole thing, bro.
Yeah.
It's a whole thing.
Yeah. This is totally aside from directing. I was just doing my research on you and I saw these TED Talks you did. You're so multifaceted, even outside of filmmaking. And when I was kind of digging deep into what your talks were about, there's a lot of talks about, meditation and mindfulness and things like that. But you talked about a story. And I know you've talked about this story in the past. It was an event that happened on New Year's Eve. I would love if you could just tell me about that story and how all the mindfulness stuff kind of came to fruition after that,
So I was shot in my back on New Year's, like 2015. Bullet at my own New Year's party. Bullet went through 2 people and hit me in my back.
Damn.
Okay. So that happens. I'm upset about it. I did some interviews, but I was kind of blaming the culture. Time goes on. I learn about just kind of random things come in front of me. I see this article on one of the science website that says criminal brains are different than the average person, the average brain.
Can I just stop you right there? Who shot you exactly? Like, do you know?
I don't know.
You don't know?
No.
Okay. But it wasn't like a target. It wasn't like.
No. Someone shot someone once on the dance floor, shot him in the chest. The bullet went through that person, the person behind him, and then hit me.
Insane.
Bullets, in the movies where the guys have a machine gun and then when takes the body and goes and he reels the bullet and he throws it away and he's fine.
Yeah,
that wouldn't happen. Or when someone gets the car door and then and the guy hides behind the car door and the car door that wouldn't happen.
That wouldn't happen. It would hit. You'd get hit.
Bullets go through people. They go through car doors. They go through tape. When they get the couch for the table.
Oh yeah.
A guy with a machine gun is spraying. No.
I see. Okay.
Everyone should be dead. But because our culture does things like that, you have people think if I shoot this guy in a packed room, I'm just shooting him.
I see.
You know what I'm saying?
Damn.
I mean, people watch movies with machine guns and think hiding behind a car door
You'll be safe.
will stop a machine gun.
Yeah.
It wouldn't stop a handgun.
Yeah. I see.
A machine gun will go through the entire room. It wouldn't stop after 2 people. And it didn't. It went through 2 people and it stopped in the third one. A handgun through 2 people, went through 2 people and stopped in the third.
And did you have to go to the ER after that?
Yeah, that pulled the fucking, I mean, I didn't even know. I thought it was great. It's the whole thing about how they finally got the bullet out of me. But so I read this article about the human brain, that criminals have a different brain than the average person. The prefrontal cortex, which is decision making,
Yes.
is too small, smaller than the average person.
Yes.
So they got small decisions. And the amygdala, which is emotional control, is bigger than the average person. So big emotions, small decisions.
Got it.
And even better, the amygdala can turn off your prefrontal cortex.
Really?
You ever blacked out? You ever got so angry that you blacked out?
I have, yeah.
You ever, and you know?
Yeah.
No, you had it. You kind of like there's something happening. Then your memory has a hole in it. This is what happened to you.
Yes.
Stress, emotions,
Yes.
Black hole, and then what you have after that is violence or something. You're in the right. That black hole is your brain shutting off. Your decisions saying no.
Your prefrontal cortex shutting off. So what's the back?
Your emotions get information just a little bit faster than your prefrontal cortex.
Got it.
Your emotions make the decision if you're going to keep thinking.
Got it.
So if you have a big amygdala, if you have big emotions and small decisions, you're much more likely to turn off you're much more likely to work with the emotions.
Got it.
So I read that article. Then I read another article about children. They say childhood abuse and neglect damages the brain. They call it brain damage, and they call it permanent brain damage.
Really?
Abusing your child and neglecting your child are the same thing.
I see. Yep. I see. That's an insane comparison.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's the same. This damages the brain in the same way.
Yes.
The prefrontal cortex is too small, and the amygdala is too big.
Got it.
So the criminal brain is similar to the abused or neglected child.
Got it.
Which makes all the sense in the world.
That's
we all
insane.
Get that. Right. So, all right. Abused, neglected child. The damage of the brain is the type of brain that you find in criminals. Okay.
Wow.
Then, or you could say antisocial personality disorder. Whatever it is. Okay.
This is why a lot of kids are fucked up. Like, could we make the argument for like school shooters or no? Or like people who are.
Yeah. I mean, this really takes a dark turn when you start, read a study, Google 2 smartphones, smart screens, toddlers, babies. It's nothing but damage.
Really?
Nothing but damage to a child. A child before you're 2 years old, you should never have a screen.
Really?
Unless you're FaceTiming. And if you ever have a screen, you may be an hour.
Yeah.
And when that happens, you should be with an adult who's interacting with you but before 2 years old, never. It thins the prefrontal cortex and the damage to these brains. And this is, and we'll talk about permanent brain damage.
Yeah.
What happens after 5? The development of your brain before 5 years old is essential for your ability to be a functioning human being. And after that, it's over. That's why before 5, if you grew up in a household, if you grew up in a household and 5 different families lived in there and they all spoke 5 different languages, you would speak 5 different languages. You wouldn't have to sit down. You wouldn't have to learn it. You just, before 5 years old, you're a super genius.
Yep.
That's how we're designed.
Yep.
Well, we're now severely damaging. Forget abuse and neglect. Are these fucking things? It should be illegal and will be when we finally wrap our head around it. Letting a fucking anyone before 2 years old have a phone would be the equivalent of letting a 10-year-old have a fucking beer.
Really?
You need to think of it the same way.
That's good to know, man, just for like the future.
Yeah.
You know?
Every time you see a fucking little kid with a fucking smartphone and they're doing all that stuff, just imagine a 10-year-old with a whiskey.
Really?
Same shit.
Wow.
I'm not exaggerating.
So how does this relate?
Okay.
Yeah.
So here we go.
Please continue. Yes.
So we have childhood abuse and neglect,
Yes.
damaging the prefrontal cortex, and damaging the amygdala, giving you big emotions and small decision making. Well, I read another set of stuff on meditation. Meditation changes the brain. Meditation gives volume to the prefrontal cortex and shrinks your amygdala.
Wow, reverses it. Wow.
So now when you go into the most violent prison in Mexico, they had a prison riot. 44 people were killed.
In the prison?
In the riot.
Really?
Not in a year.
Yeah.
A city like Toronto, if 44 people die in Toronto, which is a city of about 3-4 million people,
yeah,
that's a bad year.
Right. Oh, wow. Wow.
No, 44 people died in the riot.
Wow.
They implemented a meditation program, no more extreme violence.
Wow.
San Francisco had one of the most violent neighborhoods in the city, had one of, the junior high over there. Chaos. You know how, we're in California right now. You know how this works.
It's crazy.
Bad neighborhood, you know what the schools are like.
Yeah.
Fighting and this and that. They introduce a meditation program. Attendance goes up, fights go down, grades goes up. The worst behaving kids become their highest achieving academic students. They've expanded it out to more high schools.
Wow.
When you bring meditation into these environments, the violence drops and the achievement rises. Everything else changes. So from that, I did a TED Talk about that. I got shot in my back.
Yeah, that was amazing.
I did a TED Talk called Message to the Man Who Shot Me.
Amazing.
And I do this. Now, here's the thing for us.
Yeah.
Watch that TED Talk, and can you find this, the book Save the Cat?
I don't know.
Right now, everybody go and Google Save the Cat and then buy Save the Cat and then read Save the Cat, and all your storytelling troubles are going to change.
Save the Cat?
Save the Cat. Save the Cat has a beat sheet, right?
Save the Cat. I found it right here.
So Save the Cat, if you want to save yourself some time, go Save the Cat beat sheet.
Got it.
So this breaks down storytelling. So every movie that you've ever seen, when they're properly structured, this is proper story structure, has an intro. Let's do Star Wars. Intro to Star Wars, big spaceship, little spaceship, Darth Vader, get the plans out of here. What movie is this? The intro grabs your attention, right? Saving Private Ryan, the beach, right?
Yep.
What movie is this? The intro. The intro. So my TED Talk is structured like a film.
It was a great TED Talk, bro.
That's why you're like,
I love that. I love that. You're great, bro.
You don't know it, but I'm giving you filmmaking. This is our power.
Yeah.
When you bring your filmmaking knowledge, your power of storytelling, you study this shit, and then you not only in the power to do what you're doing, right? I use Save the Cat when I make treatments.
Sick. I love that.
I do an intro.
I love that.
Okay, so you do your intro, opening scene. The opening scene of the TED Talk, I look at the camera and say, Message to the Man Who Shot Me.
Yes.
You remember the night you came to my New Year's party, and for some reason you thought that'd be a good place to pull out a gun.
Yeah, I love that.
Everyone...
Very captivating.
And I'm looking at the camera because I'm not doing a TED Talk where I'm walking around and giving a thing like I'm Steve Jobs. I'm talking to someone. So I'm doing a TED Talk where I look at the lens.
So good.
And everyone's in the
So
lines.
good.
It's a TED Talk. Who shot you? Oh, he really did get shot.
Yeah.
Right? So you have your intro. Okay? And then somewhere in a properly structured movie, someone mentions the theme of the movie. And Star Wars is probably around the time that C-3PO and Princess Leia, right? Maybe Luke is saying something, but someone, you don't know it, but someone actually said what the movie's about.
Yes.
I'm never going to get out of here. Oh, this place is boring. I say, you thought that would be a good place to pull out your gun and shoot someone in the chest. And that bullet went through that person, the person behind him, and hit me in the back. And I spent the rest of that night getting that bullet cut out of my side, thinking to myself, what would make someone do something like that?
Yep, I remember that.
You think it's just a line. I've set you up. This is the theme of the rest of the talk. Okay.
You gave him the plot real quick.
Real quick, you have to say it.
Yeah.
A properly structured piece lets you know what this entire thing's going to be about way at the beginning.
That's smart.
This is structure. This is proper structure.
I love that.
Right? So after that, you need your catalyst or you need your setup.
Yes.
Right? So intro, right?
Yep.
Theme, setup. Who are you going to meet? Who are the characters? Da-da-da. So I set it up. I got shot. What would make someone do something like that? In my TED Talk, I talk about me going back to work and make these things. And I'm talking about all this stuff about my work. And it just seems like this guy's just talking about what's this guy talking about his work? What I'm saying, in a world of people that if you do makeup for J-Lo You're a celebrity makeup artist. You're not just a normal makeup artist. You work for J-Lo. That means you're better than everybody at makeup.
Yes.
I should hope.
Yeah, hopefully.
Well, I do entertainment. I've done this stuff. I'm not just some guy. I've done some things.
Yeah.
Right?
Totally.
Okay, well, who's this guy? Where's this leading?
Yeah.
I'm setting you up, and in the setup, I talk about my science show, Mr. Tachyon. I created a show that we did science experiments.
Yes.
And we did it on meditation and all that stuff. It's not exactly where I got this information from, but for the story, for the setup, I need you to know I'm a serious filmmaker. I do art, and I did a TV show, and I did science stuff.
That's so cool.
And it gave me this information about the brain.
Yeah.
Then the catalyst happens. Okay? The catalyst is the big thing that happens that changes everything. Luke gets the droids. Okay? Luke gets the droids. Now everything has changed. And from that, we needed to debate. And actually, the catalyst we want to get into Star Wars is Obi-Wan Kenobi says, "Come with me. Come with me. You come with me as I go do this mission." Right? And then they debate. Then you have the debate section. You see this in your thing on the setup. In your you looked up the Save the Cat beat sheet.
Yes, I did.
So you see all that in there, right?
Yep.
So now you debate the catalyst.
Yes.
Come with me, young hero, to be on a mission.
Yep, I see it.
I can't go on a mission. I've got a thing to do. In the TED Talk, the catalyst is we have a violent summer in Toronto.
Okay. Yes.
Guns are people are getting shot left, right, and center. No one knows what to do. Then the debate happens, and everyone starts talking about what are we going to do? More gun crime, more this, more that. The debate.
Yes.
Okay.
Totally.
So now you've debated it. All right. And I even debate people's criticism of me. Well, who the fuck are you to talk about brains? Because I debate, but no one ever talked about the brain. Where no one's ever talking about the decision. They're all talking about how you get the gun. What do you do with the gun? What do we do if we catch you with the gun? But no one ever says, how do we get to the decision when you decided to use the gun? That's the major part.
Yeah. Super.
So then I address people's criticism of me, which is just even proper essay structure. I don't know if your English teacher ever told you, you address the criticisms in your essay. If you know that people are going to say this and that, you should say that. Like, I know you think this and you're fucking wrong.
Yeah.
Right? So I address their criticisms of me.
Yeah, I see. That makes sense.
Who the fuck are you? You're just a director. What do you know about brains? Well,
yeah.
That's why scientists publish studies.
Right.
And you read them, and
that's why they have studies.
That's what the studies are for.
That's the purpose.
And I can read the studies.
Yeah.
And then the audience laughed.
Yes.
Because it's such an obvious point. The laughing wipes away any
doubt.
They agree.
Yeah.
It's obvious.
Yeah.
Ha ha. That's what studies are for.
Yeah.
Clean.
Right.
Now you enter the second act. The fun and games, as they call it, right? Now Luke has debated it. He's left. He's off on the adventure. He's gone to space, right? This is what you're there for. Well, this is what we're here for.
Yeah.
Here's the message to the man who shot me. And I start talking about the studies, the ones I told you about, the brain, the prefrontal cortex, and da-da-da. Then you hit the midpoint. And the midpoint should be, they call it when bad guys close in. And there's also a B story. I left that out. Sometimes but there's a B, which is normally your romance. But
yes.
So, second act begins, the fun and games. Second act, the promise of the film.
Yes.
You're going to be in space on an adventure. You're going to go do we're going to talk about the brain. And then you hit the midpoint. And the midpoint in a movie is when the bad guys close in. That's normally the part where, like, they've been kicking so much ass, you've been having such a great time, the bad guy says, get me big bad guy to help, and then a big one of those guys shows up.
Got it.
In the TED Talk, I go from studies to real world examples.
Got it.
Prison in Mexico, that school.
Yep.
Right. And then, so the bad guys close in, and then you hit your low point. Right. And in you're called Dark Night of the Soul, that's when I actually stop talking to the camera and I talk to the audience. I have a plan. What if we did this? Right?
Got it.
So, and that's normally someone's dead. Obi-Wan Kenobi dies. Someone dies. In most movies, it's literally someone dies. Right? And then the heroes hit their lowest point. And then the third act, when you take all you've learned, rise above, and, right?
Yeah.
So the TED Talk, you don't know it, but you just got a movie. You don't know it, but I do, because we're filmmakers. Our power of conscious versus subconscious, what we know that looking at the camera does versus looking off to the person behind it. We know the difference. or we should.
Yeah.
Which lens are you looking at? Okay. These things, these are our powers. And then taking story structure. So this is now how I do treatments. A lot of people will do a treatment and they'll do, hey, intro, right? They'll do intro, hey, intro. And then they're so quick to go, here's the video we want to make.
Yeah.
And then at the end they go, and this is what the lighting will be. And this is what the clothes will be. And then I got to go re-remember the whole thing I just read.
Yeah.
And now do it again in my head when I do a treatment, I do my intro. Often the catalyst will be, hey, got the song, whatever. But essentially I put the debate before the debate. This is the lighting, this is the clothes, this is that. This is what we're going to, the stuff you have to get through.
Yeah.
Right? Okay, we're doing all that. And then now you're ready. You know what they're going to wear. You know how it's going to be lit. You know the locations. You know all the stuff.
Yeah.
Here's the video.
Wow.
And now it's all in your head.
Yeah.
Story structure.
Yes.
Applies to everything.
Yes.
You feel what I'm saying?
Yes.
This isn't something that people figured out and then brought to us. This is the way we receive information. That's why when you get in a time machine and go back or go forward in time, stories that last will follow this structure. You feel what I'm saying? And that brings me back to what I told you earlier. All of the filmmaking is what informs the rest of it. So you might be doing music video, but if you went over there and studied story, you might find stuff in story that are going to help you with your, right? And if you really go out and live life, the things I learned in boxing and the stuff I learned in the gym are things I bring back for performance. Stand on your toes, Usher. You feel it's easier to bounce around now?
Yeah.
Keep your weight on your toes. That's a boxing thing.
Yeah, I see.
But it'll change your performance. Push the small of your back out so you feel more. And when you go to the gym, you can't help but puff up your chest.
Use that. Yeah, I see.
You start pulling from all the parts of your life and start putting it into the thing you do.
Yeah.
Right? Because we are supposed to be encompassing an entire experience from story to posture to performance to, right?
Yes.
And bringing that all together. And this is the magic we hold. And then after you do it with your stuff, what I'm doing with Operation Prefrontal Cortex, op.pfc on Instagram.
Check it out.
And we have a documentary.
Okay.
So now I can take that. When I take that TED Talk, because I understand filmmaking, I can go back to my special effects friends. All that TED Talk that you saw, all the stuff that's in the screen behind me was not happening on the day.
What do you mean?
There's a screen behind me, but we didn't have all the images.
You didn't? So was it like...
I went to my friend who does special effects and he put it in the back.
Oh, really?
Hey, I did ADR. I recut
really?
it. Yeah, there's a few lines that don't work.
Oh, nice.
Things I didn't hit.
They let you do that?
Yeah, they let me do it.
Sick.
We're filmmakers. Are you TED Talk people stuck with what you shot? I'm not. I'll be back in a week.
You're the only person in the history of TED Talks who's VFX.
I did. Yeah, okay, good. That was a good. We starting with this. Go in, and then this is when Instagram was popping. I take it and recut it into a vertical. I add, this is before you could just press caption.
Yeah.
I did the fucking subtitles.
Yeah, I love it.
So cut it up, turned it into the perfect 10-minute thing for Instagram, dropped it on Instagram. When it hit Instagram, went nuts.
Yeah.
For a month, every day when I went out, someone in Toronto said, I saw that thing, man.
No
I'm
way.
meditating now.
Love that.
Every day someone said something to me. Again, so when we bring these powers to our projects, that's great. But when you bring these powers that you have to one of your fucking things, when your little community fucking meeting needs to make a little video and you come in the room, suddenly it's an emotional fucking experience picking up trash from the beach. Suddenly people are inspired to not let the plastic bags fucking just sit there. Because the music and the shot and the thing, and they don't know what's happening to them. They don't know the story structure that just slapped them across the face, but you do, right?
Right.
So this all goes along, and as we're building this organization, one of my production companies introduces me to another production company, which introduces me to Headspace. So if you go to, if you Google Quiet Minds, Silent Streets, Doc Plus.
Okay.
Documentary Plus is a website, and they're showing the documentary that Operation Prefrontal Cortex made with Headspace.
Got it. Sick.
The app.
Cool collab, yeah.
And this now is a 15-minute documentary about a bunch of kids who saw my TED Talk.
Wow.
Their neighborhood is, I mean, you got to see this film.
I'll check it out.
The opening of the film, we show a shooting for the security camera of one of the largest shootings in Toronto.
Really?
140 rounds.
140 rounds?
I've shown Compton gangsters. They're like, what the fuck?
What the dude? That's insane.
Yeah, it's insane because, you know, kids, when you're the further you get from the city, the worse they get. You know what I'm saying? Like these kids are trying to show they're gangster, right?
Yeah.
140 rounds. And this young boy, Jonathan Davis, he's a teenager. He's in high school. He gets killed just standing around. He's not part of any of that shit. And the kids that go to school with him and his friends are fucked up, man. And the teacher says, what if we start meditating? What if that helps? And they show them the TED Talk and they start to meditate. And they go through this process. They go through their story, right? And again, save the cat. It's there. We pull the rug out from this. There's a whole bunch of stuff we're doing. We're doing proper story structure. We're using our skills. I'm coming in there making a documentary.
Yes.
Right. I produced it. Karen Chapman is the director. Like we have our superpowers, and they're great when you do it for fucking. They're fun, but when you put it to something you care about, then you can really impact people.
That's
right?
beautiful, man.
Yeah. So again, Quiet Minds, Silent Streets, Doc Plus, 50 minutes, easy watch.
Check it out.
Check it out. And this is what I'm saying about what we do. The larger picture, the bigger side of it.
It's beyond music videos.
It's beyond music videos. It's beyond the movie you want to make. These are things that you can actually, when the time is right, you can turn around and put towards your community and make people pay attention to things they should be paying attention to.
Thank you for doing all that too, by the way.
No, thank you.
It's not a lot of directors who are, because you're not letting yourself be defined as just a director. You're so much more than that, and you're so involved in your community and mental health. Like, we need to be advocates for that. So I appreciate you doing that, you know?
Thank you.
Before we wrap it up, I want to rapid fire a few things, if that's cool, a few questions. The first one, this is a little more juicy stuff, but I'm curious as what your take is. So the first question I have, back to music. Shit's been crazy with obviously Kendrick, with Drake, the whole beef going on. And I know you're from Toronto. Was there any impact of that rap feud in Toronto, and how do you feel about it since you've worked with both of them, you know?
I really don't know. I'm not really outside like I once was, so I don't know how, you know what I mean? I can't remember where I was like.
Yeah,
I was just bouncing around. So I know about as much as anyone knows about how Toronto feels about it.
Yeah.
So, you know.
You don't have any really opinions then for either side, huh?
Bro, I'm 40.
You're busy.
I'm almost 49, my guy. Like, you know what I mean? How much can I?
I'm just curious because, you know.
Yeah, look, I love me a good hip hop battle.
Yeah.
I love a good back and forth and all that. But again, it's at 49, really being that concerned about a hip hop beef.
You got bigger fish to fry.
I got bigger fish to fry, but I thought it was good for the culture.
Yeah.
No one got hurt.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Which was the thing. And always got a lot of love. I love Drake. He really, I mean, I've done a gazillion jobs with the guy.
Yeah.
So, I mean, yeah, there's just always going to be a lot of, I just love Drake. Hope to see how he comes back.
Man, he's going to come back strong. He's plotting, bro.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, he's a smart guy and has a really good instinct about music. I mean, Kendrick is a great artist. And just, I mean, look, I'm from Toronto.
Yeah.
But a Toronto versus LA beef, LA, you know what I'm saying?
It's crazy. LA is ruthless.
It's like this is like, it's one of the fucking, there's New York and then there's LA. When it comes to hip hop, the foundations of the entire culture.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. LA doesn't play.
It was that I mean, that's even outside of Drake. You know what I mean? Like there's part of the city.
That's true.
Part of the city is with like it's ingrained into you. You know what I'm saying? Like KRS-One is from the Bronx, Jay-Z's from Brooklyn, Kendrick's from Compton, NW. You feel me?
Yeah.
It's part of the artist. It's one and the same.
Yeah.
So again, and I'm from Toronto. So when Toronto goes up against LA, regardless of artist, there's a little more weight on that's hit deep weighted history.
Yeah.
The weight classes.
Totally.
You know what I'm saying? It's just and you can't remove those parts. And again, that's just city versus city.
Of course.
I mean, would you let Toronto beat LA?
Would I let them?
It's just, you know what I'm saying? I'm
an LA kid, by the way.
That's what I'm saying. And I'm from Toronto. I know the fucking whatever. You know what I'm saying? Like on a hip hop level, the city matters.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
Toronto is newer, I guess, in the scene.
Toronto just, you can't deny Toronto's, what they've done in a short amount of time.
It's pretty amazing.
To go from like, where? The hockey players?
Yeah.
To, the champion NBA team and the two biggest artists in the world.
Yeah. Facts. More than 2. I mean, yeah, Drake Weekend. You have Bieber, obviously, is big.
But on some hip hop shit.
On some hip hop, yeah.
Drake and the Weekend. Drake, like, for sure. No cities. Actually, what can we name a city that's even come up that wasn't already a major city?
Was it? What do you think about Atlanta? I mean, they were still kind of, there's like Outkast and Atlanta, but Atlanta,
Miami
kind of ish.
Miami's Miami though.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Atlanta, like Toronto is nowhere in any of these conversations. The talent actually put it on the map.
Yeah, and the talent's amazing.
You know what I mean? So the fact that even Toronto could get into a fight with LA is a great achievement for Toronto. When I was growing up, no one was talking about Toronto in any kind of hip hop context.
That's a good way to put it, man. Hell yeah. Well, before we wrap it up, I got one last question for you. And the way we're going to do this, going to switch the vibe. So, we got a deck of cards, okay? There's 50 questions in here. We're not going to answer all of them. But I want you to open up this deck and just pick one card that speaks to you, read the question, and give me an answer straight from your heart.
Okay.
Any card you want, whatever speaks to you.
On tarot cards, they say whatever jumps out at you is what you're supposed to.
Yes.
How do you hope to grow and evolve in the future? I want to grow as a better artist.
Okay.
On the technical side, with the camera, with the lights, with the act, you know what I'm saying? I want to grow in performance, my ability to direct performance, understand performance. I want to grow in my storytelling abilities.
Yes.
Right? And I want to grow in my magic power, like I was telling y'all, where I can just make you feel, make you laugh, make you cry, where it's a conscious thought, a conscious decision to really, you know what I'm saying? All my 100%. Conscious, subconscious abilities.
100%, brother.
Yeah, man.
I love it, man. Well, listen, thank you for coming, Director X. I want to thank everyone for watching. I want to thank the crew, everybody behind the scenes. And most importantly, I want to give a big round of applause to ourselves. Let's go, baby. Let's go. Thank you, bro. I appreciate it, man.